And in life, there's a lot of things we can easily be afraid of, but let's get over it, let's get past it. Let's not make it part of our life that's tearing us down and keeping us from enjoying life. There's ways of overcoming all of these fears in your life, and I look forward to kind of helping you do that, if at all possible. Hey everybody, Papa Todd here. Thought I'd come out and get a little nature today. A lot of people have kind of just given up on submitting to their fears, right? And they don't know what to do. They're looking for things like that. So you got a lot of fear in your life, you got a lot of things you're worried about, you're not alone. It's little steps, little things that you can do to get over it. I was very fortunate to grow up kind of in a small community, small high school, on a farm, kind of doing a lot of work. My father felt it was very important for me to learn how to work. That farm life gave me that opportunity to learn a lot of lessons. Farm life is a bit more self-sufficient, Typically farms have gardens and orchards, and you have the ability to grow your own food. Maybe not all of it, but definitely, we raised chickens and we had beef cows. We had a lot of different things, a lot of opportunities. And I was very fortunate to, at one point in my life, live with my grandparents. And having grandparents raised in the Great Depression teaches you a lot of things. Teaches you how to be very frugal, maximize what you've got. A garden in your backyard, preserving that food for many, many years. Those lessons are incredible. And then of course you're living with nature, and you've got the wild around you to some degree. Some places wilder than others, but the ability to actually take from the land what it can give you, and being the steward over that land, that's extremely important. When you cultivate the land, and you cultivate and harvest appropriately, and you get better and better at doing those things, those skills build up inside you, and that fear of certain things that could happen dissipate. But some of those fears are just simple little things. I mean, I'm sitting here surrounded by a ton of gnats, they're everywhere, but there's plenty of bugs out there that people are scared to death of, right? It's not a bad thing, but you can overcome that. Obviously there's dangers everywhere, whether that's certain poisonous types of snakes, poisonous types of animals, poisonous plants. I mean, I'm looking at poison ivy all around me right now, but yeah, if you can identify a poison ivy, you're not gonna walk into it. If you know how to identify jewelweed, even if you get into it, you've got an elixir, so to speak, to take care of it. So those are the types of things that I want to use this channel for. If those are types of things that you want to learn, hit the like and subscribe button. Definitely gonna be doing these videos for my grandkids. I just have a lot of experiences that I feel like knowledge that's built up inside of me, and a lot of those things that I've learned are things that have been around for a very long time. Some of them are extremely primitive, but the confidence that builds in you when you learn how to not just identify, but using the skills, like actually doing things, that's extremely important. You can't just read it in a book and now all of a sudden I'm experienced. That's not how it works. You're going to learn little tips and tricks and little things along the way that you read about that are a little bit more challenging than you expected. I can remember reading about how to make fire, and multiple methods out there that are very old methods, and some have evolved incredibly. Some simpler than others, and yet some extremely challenging. And they sound simple. Conceptually, it's really easy to understand. But when you start applying it, you start to realize there's little things, those little tips, those little tricks can go a long, long way to making you much more successful. And those are the types of things I'd love to share with my grandkids and you all. That's kind of the basis for what I'm doing. It's not going to be just primitive stuff. It's going to be stuff that's back to basics, you know, a little bit of farm, a little bit of scouting, you know, a little bit of wilderness survival that kind of goes back to the core of how and why we've improved what we've improved. So today I just thought I'd come out and enjoy a little bit of nature. That's big for me. I'm always needing to fill my cup somehow, some way, and I like to go to different places. Respect the land that we've got, take an opportunity to enjoy nature where we can. So let's talk a little bit about some of the things people can be afraid of when it comes to getting outside and enjoying nature. A couple things that jump in my mind are, you know, obviously the snakes and spiders. Typically, if you can go to your local conservation department, the state that you're in, you can find plenty of publications about those dangers. Identifying them, being able to identify them is crucial. I would always draw them myself. It would really kind of improve my awareness and the detail that I would look at the animal. So being able to draw it, looking at different times a year, sometimes the animals actually are a little bit different, but being able to, you know, identify markings on the animals, snakes in particular, you know, for instance, copperheads in my area here. The copperhead has got an hourglass on its back, right? There's one more animal that also has an hourglass on it in my area, and that's the black widow spider. The red hourglass on its belly, solid black, shiny black. So those hourglass type things are the things that I would be drawing and I would be trying to pay attention to when I was in nature. What is their habitat? Where do they like to live, right? What kind of environment do they want to be in? Typically that environment is kind of a hunting environment as well. So whatever their prey is, that's what you want to kind of be aware of as well. So if you're in that type of a setting, just be aware of it. But don't let it stop you. These animals, they don't want to bite you. They don't want to hurt you. They want to be left alone. They're trying to be somewhat reclusive. And speaking of reclusive, the fiddleback, also known as the brown recluse, where I'm at, is another danger that we should be looking out for quite a bit. But then again, they're the same way. They want to be off alone by themselves. That's why the recluse got its name, because it seems like it's always hiding from you. But why do they call it a fiddleback? I'll leave that up to you to kind of do a little bit of research on. Fun little things, and draw it. Just draw it. That drawing process is going to heighten your awareness a lot more. And once you understand you only have a few things in your area and you know how to identify them, then it's time to go out and see if you can even find them. I doubt you will. You really have to look hard to find some of these things. But in the process, what you'll probably find is different types of species that are safe, that are very similar. They don't want to hurt you either. And when you're out there studying them, looking at them, drawing them, trying to identify them, don't quit with just identification. What you want to do is observe. What do they do? What are their habits? How do they make their web? How do they make their nest? Where do they like to be as far as habitat? What are their actions? Those types of things help you build well beyond a name. Some aids to help you, like I said, was the state that you live in, looking at the conservation department there. Some additional things you might look at are other field guides. Lots of field guides out there. One of my favorites is the Peterson field guides. They're fairly small, they're a little bit more compact. They actually have a really good book that kind of summarizes North America's dangerous, venomous animals and plants. Really, really good detail. The kind of thing you'd want to read before you go somewhere, but take with you as well in the field if you're going somewhere. That way you can stop, identify those things, confirm those things if you're in the field. A number of people have been, gotten sick from identifying a mushroom the wrong way in our area. Lots of different plants that you may not know are fairly dangerous, that you could definitely take this in the field with you and just go on some fact-finding hunts, right? Looking for those very things. Educate yourself, because education's the key. The more you educate yourself about the thing you're afraid of, easier it's going to be for you to overcome it. You're going to find that it's a lot simpler than you think. And in life, there's a lot of things that way. There's a lot of things we can easily be afraid of. But let's get over it, let's get past it. Let's not make it part of our life that's tearing us down or keeping us from enjoying life, keeping us from going out and enjoying things with other people. A lot of camping and things like that, people are just like, oh, I'm not going to go. The bugs or the heat or all these things. And there's some beautiful places out there. And it'd be a shame to just not enjoy those places simply because of bugs or heat. I get it, but there's ways of staying cool, right? There's ways of overcoming all of these fears in your life. And I look forward to kind of helping you do that, if at all possible. If there's anything that rang true with you today, the things that I talked about that you'd like to talk more about, or areas in your life where you feel like this is a fear of mine, leave a comment down below. I'd love to maybe dive deeper on that, find a way to give you some crutches to get over some of these hurdles, right? And get you back out doing things that you really want to be doing. In life, we don't want to live a life that's got, no fun, right? And tied up and locked up, so to speak. We don't want that in life. We want beautiful things experienced, right? We want to experience that with people that we love and get outside and do things. And, too much our life is about work. It's overwhelming, right? Sometimes we just feel like we have to keep up with work so much all the time. And I get that. I travel a lot for work. I work too much right now. And getting out, doing things like this, enjoying nature, running some trails, just being calm, being still, and just letting the birds talk, right? Letting everything else sing. It can definitely fill your cup. So you need to definitely take the time, make the time, learn about things, and keep advancing your skills. Some of these skills can go a long, long way to making you feel super confident in some of these uncertain times, right? Becoming more self-sufficient, less dependent on others should be a goal. Always trying to get better and better at what you do. Whether that's your favorite thing to do, like maybe gardening, right? That's probably one of the first things we should be doing. Probably one of the first topics I'm going to dive a little deeper into as well. Knowing how to grow just one type of food and just slowly do it. Learn year by year. All those things can go a long way to your confidence level, right? So if there's things like that you want to learn about, things like that you want me to focus on, man, I'd love to. Just give me a topic down below and we'll go through it and do some more things. So hope you learned a little bit about me today, a little bit about what I hope this channel brings for folks, and hope to see you in the next one.